talk about drug abuse targets the brain pleasure system. And we're going to briefly talk about this. Some scholars view the brain disorder of addiction basically as disrupted neurotransmitters that occur between neurotransmitters and receptors. Other neuroscientists examine the basic structure of the brain. Early in addiction brain research, scientists believed that they had identified the key area of the brain responsible for addictive behavior, the pleasure center, or the limbic system. Much attention was given to help clinicians understand the basic actions of the limbic system when mood-altering substances cross the BBB, also known as the blood-brain barrier. It is widely touted in early 1990s in many addiction treatment settings that the key to understanding addiction was revealed in understanding the mechanism of the limbic system in response to drugs like heroin, cocaine, marijuana, and alcohol, just to name a few. It is clearly documented that a flood of one particular type of feel-good neurotransmitters, dopamine, was released in abundance, which causes euphoria, or in the vernacular, street vernacular, a high. When these drugs are consumed and then presented to the brain, that's when the high occurs. To better understand how drugs can have such a profound effect on the brain, it is valuable to consider that the chemical structure of many drugs have very similar chemical structure of our naturally occurring brain chemicals to help alleviate pain, for example, to help stimulate energy production. So when scientists point out that drugs of abuse primarily act as brain's reward circuitry, increasing the specific neurotransmitters like dopamine in largely than normal amounts. And if you remember, dopamine is considered to be one of the principal neurotransmitters to create feelings of well-being and the euphoric experience associated with mood-altering drug of abuse. So when you look at the brain reward dopamine pathways, you have to look at the frontal cortex and the ventral tegmental area. So the drug of abuse increases the dopamine, and that's also the same thing when you look at some foods. Typically, dopamine increases in response to natural rewards, such as food. When cocaine is taken, however, dopamine increases are exaggerated and communication is altered. So once the mood-altering chemical crosses into the brain, many actions occur. Dopamine is released in larger than normal quantities, upward to 2 to 10 times the amount released in natural functioning. This extra dopamine delivers an overwhelming number of messages via the receptor cells to unlock a flood of pleasurable sensations. And it is simplistic and explanation. These abundance of dopamine bathes the brain in a powerful neurotransmitter that signals many other neurons to get excited, and thus bringing about a cascade of well-being, superior sensations of joy, relaxation, empowerment, confidence, strength, and many other pleasurable sensations that occur and compromise euphoria. So that is what happens when drugs are abused and they target the brain pleasure center.